welcome. I'm Justin Attlee, and I'm here with Greg Royce for a Fireside chat. Greg,
yes,
how are you?
Yeah, no, I'm great, thank you. This is such a privilege for me.
This is, and I think I missed the boat because I think offering you a glass of wine and a nice fire has got you out to come chat. So I'm chuffed with that. I might have learned that too late. But going back a couple of years, Gramps, I hope you can remember all these things. But in 1996, you took over here. It was my final year at St. Peter's, and you took over as head from Anthony Parnell. I want to know some of the feelings you had coming here. What brought you to St. Peter's? What made you want to come to St. Peter's?
Well, that's a great question. So at the time, I was at St. David's, Marist Ananda, and I had been offered. I was running the prep school, and there was talk about me taking over the whole school. And then I got a call from a headhunter about coming to St. Peter's. And if truth be told, St. Peter's was a school I'd always admired. We played sport against St. Peter's. In my previous schools, I'd brought teams across. And there was just something about the place that I absolutely loved. It seemed so relaxed. It seemed ultra professional. I was in admiration of the staff that I met. They were not your average teacher. They were bright. They were multi-talented. They were warm and welcoming. So I was really keen. I identified so much with it, and with the boys. Meeting the boys on the sports field, there was also something about them, some sort of spontaneity. So I should just digress a moment and tell you a story. Shortly after I got here, you'll remember we had standard sixes in those days. And there was no such thing as a marketing department. And I wasn't aware of how much work I should do in marketing the school. I wasn't really focused on it. And at the time, the standard sixes took parents around. If parents wanted a school tour, then a boy got out of class and got to show them around. Blazer on, buttoned up, and off you'd go. So I'd seen one group of parents, a couple that expressed interest. They popped into my study, and I spoke to them, and then a boy dutifully arrived, and off they went. And they came back 20 minutes later and thanked the boy. He was very grave. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And off he went. So I said, how did it go? They said, oh, no, it was really good. Oh, your boys really know the school well, and they love it. And then the father said to me, but I should just tell you this. On the way back, I said to him, so what do you think of the new headmaster? And the boy looked at me and said, what new headmaster?
Fantastic.
So when I got here, I realized that everything the school stood for was 100% in line with what I was looking for. I loved the professionalism. I loved the fact that it was informal and warm. Anthony Parnell was a Renaissance man. I mean, he could do everything. He was a musician, a great sportsman. He loved literature. I know he used to teach the boys poetry and creative writing, and they loved that. And the people were just phenomenal. So I just fell in love. But I'll tell you something. It put me in my place. I felt that I had a burden on me. I felt that the school was so good. I wondered if I was up to the job. Was I good enough? Because it was already such a superb institution with superb staff. So I was nervous for a long time.
Well, I can, being I was staying at 6 those days, grade 8. We found already, as you come in as a new head, you probably want to settle a little bit before you change anything. But I felt the atmosphere did calm a lot. Anthony was, I was scared of him. And I think you were much more warmer and more open to speaking and chatting with the boys, which I loved. And I think there were small changes that you made quite quickly, which I believe were fantastic changes. And and so, like we're saying, we're taking a school that's really well established to another level. So, yeah, it was fantastic to get to be, or to have you as a headmaster for that year, just to see where the school was going. And the Attlee family has had long ties in St. Peter's as well. So I've kept up with the school, and it's been unbelievable. Leading on to your thing about Anthony Parnell being brilliant at everything, staff variety show, were there any pressures on there to keep that going and making sure that we keep the standard there?
That's a good question. There was a time when we thought it might stop because the same people who'd always organized it were still organizing it, and they got tired.
Yeah.
And it was a big ask on staff, doing it every year in March in that first term, in the Easter term. There were mark orders and reports to do, and the men had cricket and so on in the Saturday mornings. And as you probably surmised as a schoolboy, their activities on the Friday and Saturday night were not restricted to acting. They made liberal use of the refreshments provided, as did we all, which is very Anglican, I must say. So it was a big ask on them. And so eventually we came to a compromise and we did it, we started doing it every second year, which made it easier. And there was because of that, I think there was even more enthusiasm and excitement around it. And then a new crop of youngsters came in, and when the guys had been doing it for a long time, like Hilary Nothard and your mum, and who else would, Clackers and Mark Clackworthy, when they started to withdraw, other people leapt up and took over with great enthusiasm. And so, if anything, it got better. Well, it was more aligned with the times. And as we got black staff members in, then there were more items that were appealing to a wider culture, more cultures, which was super. Everybody absolutely loved that. Yeah, so now it's just so firmly entrenched. And in my last year, we were meant to have had one this year. So I rather regret that I've missed that. But I've just enjoyed the others so much.
Yeah,
and I know you guys, when you were at school, you were desperate to see what we used to get up to.
Yeah, we were absolutely. And I remember I think the staff used to put on 3 or 4 skits for us in the hall.
Yeah.
So we'd get a little taste of it.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. I mean, it is one of the things that I found that it brings the staff together. Any new staff member that comes in a year before, in that year, gets to know everybody. It's phenomenal. And you know what's great is you see teachers from other schools coming on the nights to watch, and absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
So it's something very special.
It is.
I think it's got St. Peter's ties all over it.
Yeah, it is. And it's just wonderful of the staff how they give, because they all still got to work and do their marking and umpiring and coaching and what have you, and they just give.
Absolutely.
And rehearse like crazy. And the standards are high. It's lovely. It always makes me feel very good when somebody stands up in a rehearsal and says, that was crap. You're going on stage in a week's time.
Yeah, I think it's actually got more like that now. In the beginning, when we were rehearsing, it used to be not good enough. Now it's almost 2 days before we're cutting it out. We're not doing it. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
So it's more onus on the people running the skits.
Yes, you make a good point. I think that's another unique thing. Well, not unique, but it's another thing that makes the school special, is there's high standards in everything. It's not formality, but hell, you do it right if you're here at this school. Yeah, you don't let the kids or anybody down.
Yeah. The other thing that I found amazing over the years is how we retain staff. I think it's phenomenal to have staff members. I know Andrew Bench finished up on 40 years of teaching, and I think about 20 or 30 of those years were here at St. Peter's, which is unbelievable. Mike Clackworthy as well. We've had Duffield was here for years. I mean, we've had teachers that have really stayed.
Yeah.
What is it, do you think, that keeps people here? I mean,
I'm so pleased you've raised that. So I feel in most jobs, but especially in teaching, the only tool we have are the teachers, are the people. So we could have the best fields, the best classrooms, the best buildings, but if we don't have good people, then we're not delivering an absolutely superb product. So my focus, any leader's focus, currently the head's focus is on the staff, on staff wellness and on enabling them, having high expectations, but that's where our focus should be, and that's where it is. So we need to make sure they're feeling good about themselves, that they're properly equipped, that they're valued, that they know we value them, that they do things that just blow us away, leave us breathless. And during COVID, that's happened. Holy cow, you guys have risen to the occasion. I mean, you're on the staff yourself now.
Yeah.
And the product that's come out, the online product, I mean, during the height of COVID, last year during the lockdown, we had pupils from other schools, from local, highly prestigious schools, I won't mention any names, leave those schools and come across to us because of the quality of the online program that you guys were putting together. So yes, I think you're absolutely right. I think that's why people don't leave. Some people do leave because they don't fit. Here you've got to be a team player. You have to, and we share everything. And we encourage people to take criticism because that's the only way you grow. And they're so mature about that. Teachers are generally softies. But yes, I think that's why they stay.
Look, I mean, I've actually just realized that I've been here for 16 years now, which is absolutely crazy. But I think the thing that's kept me going is how we are so forward-thinking. It feels like you're in a different job every year. And it keeps you vitalized and at the forefront of what you want to do. So because I'm developing, because I'm continually changing the way I teach every year, makes me want to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, don't feel stale.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the way you've kept us, found our strengths, found our passions, let us run with our passions, has been brilliant. I think it does play a big role in keeping us here. So, yeah, thank you for that.
That's nice to hear you say it feels like a new job every year. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we're into the research, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
We just live by that. We follow every development in human motivation and education. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I think that's a lot to do with you, Greg, because you are a researcher and you keep us on our toes. But we love it. So absolutely. Going on, you know, I became a staff member here in 2005, and it was quite a big change because I went from varsity straight into high school for 6 months and then straight to here. And the feeling you get when you walk onto St. Peter's property is something that you don't get anywhere else. That's a fact. The welcome feeling, you feel like you've walked into a family, and it never leaves. It never feels like you are outside of the family. I think that is a very special thing about St. Peter's. We always speak about our St. Peter's family, and I think everybody feels that. Parents, to the boys, to the staff, to every staff member. We've also had kitchen staff that have been here for years. We've had ground staff that have been here for years. It's a very special place. I want to chat a little bit about the things that really, as a young staff member, that have really excited me. Getting to chat to you on those sunset wine tasting endeavors that we took ourselves on. Those were a lot of fun. What is your passion in wine? Where did that come from?
I think mentally I'm a bit of a collector. So I used to collect stamps, but then I found that boring. Maybe because they don't alter your mental state. So I actually started collecting wine at the age of 12 before I started to drink alcohol. And then the more I learned about it, the more fascinated I became because wine is such an individual thing. And I love the stories behind every wine that's made. And the stories change every year just because the labels are the same. The wine's not the same. Yeah. So I'm fascinated again, like the research into teaching, the research into wine and things people do to give different effects. God, I love that. I absolutely love it. And then I love to share it. Yeah. And I love that you oaks like it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
we've had some great times. Yeah, all out some bottles and talk about them. And it's something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Because teaching is so emotional. Yeah. It drains you. But I mean, it also puts you on a high. Yeah. So I think for me, wine is a whole lot more than drinking brandy and Coke. There's a whole lot more to it. So that's what appeals to me. Yeah.
And then the food, did that come after the wine or did it come
I've always
just
loved
always
food.
a passion?
And then I think there's something creative about food. It's lacquer to make things. So I'm not an artist, although I don't believe that I couldn't be one. Just like I don't believe that absolute rubbish that some people are good at maths and others aren't.
Yeah.
Some people have been encouraged and taught well. Yes, they do have a natural bent, but if everybody was told you'll be fine, and not told, oh, it's easy, you can do this. Never say that, because we don't all find it easy, whatever we're doing. And if they were encouraged, we'd all be good at maths.
Absolutely.
Some would be gooder than others, but I hate it when I hear parents say, I was never good at maths. Anyway, so back to food. I'm not a great artist. I could have been, but that's my creativity. And I love the excitement and the fact that it goes together. I love being with people, and I love being with the staff. Jeez, the staff are epic here.
They are special.
Yeah, so I enjoy that. So I think that's why I've done more and more of that now, because we believe getting together socially is so important. We work together. We also play together a lot. Our whole staff does.
Yeah.
And shame the boys miss out on that. Although we're hardly going to give them glasses of wine. But when we take them on trips and we go to the bush, then we're together, that's lovely. But I love to do that with the staff. And I like to spoil the staff. Hell, they spoil the boys. They give and give and give. So somebody else must spoil the staff.
For sure. And we are spoiled. So my little journey with you then went into you being a rector and moving out of the headship here into a rector position, which has also been hugely valuable for St. Peter's. It's taken us to another level, which we keep going. And I think, that research-based philosophy is just so strong. And we know things work. We put things in place here that we know work. And that's where the staff thrive off it, because they believe in it. You get the buy-in straight away. So, it's been a lovely journey. I've absolutely loved every minute of getting to know you. And I've always seen you as a mentor. We've had plenty of chats around. Around things. So, it's just a time for me to say thank you and for everything that you've done for me.
Jeez.
It's been a fantastic. I can't learn from anyone better. So, so thank you.
Careful now. I'm gonna.
I know we have been through a lot. We've enjoyed everything.
We've had conversations that I've learned from, and it's just been a privilege to see you grow. Yes, your confidence. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But thank you for giving me this opportunity to come chat with you, Greg. I know there will be many more. And even when you've gone, we will get together and enjoy our wine. And you'll be invited to many sunset wine tasting evenings.
I'll bring the wine. Listen, it's been my privilege, so thank you.
Thanks so much.